Howdy YouTube, my name's Ethanra, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. So I was going to do this later today, but at the risk of me forgetting, which we both know is very likely, I decided to just do it now. Especially since the closed-fisted captain, or whatever, closed-handed, whatever stupid name he has, that thing is back. So I'll just tell you while I do this. First things first, I think I should explain the limiter I put on myself just a little better. The thing about that is to make the game just a bit harder on myself for messing up. But the main thing you need to understand is that I can still switch it out whenever... Okay, I'll make sure I have the right one on. Whenever I want. What I mean is, the penalty I put on myself isn't I can only use this Keyblade in this kit for everything until I max it out. That's not the punishment. The punishment is if I want my attack boost 4 max and attack boost 4 max engage 2 back, I will have to max them out. I literally have to. If I try to infuse those into any other metal right now, the success rate won't be very good. Or at least I think it won't. I haven't bothered to try, but I know for a fact that the higher percentage percentage is before you infuse into a metal, the higher the chance is that it will be successful. So in addition to losing the metal and possibly losing the skill, yeah, I remember what they're called now. That's all the more reason why I need to, max it out. Whoops. But yeah, so it's not that I can only use this right here. This is all I can use for everything. That's not the punishment. The punishment is, again, if I want this back and this back, I have to max them out. And you already saw I got them a little bit of leveling. But yeah, because I'm actually going to need to switch them out sooner or later, especially if I want to help my party with certain things. But more importantly, the thing I wanted to tell you that I might forget is actually this dream I had. I told you before that I don't sleep often, or I don't sleep when I'm supposed to. So I usually take my sleepings, my naps, whatever you want to call them, in the afternoon. And I had this dream where I was in the Arctic or Greenland or wherever there's ice, frozen waters, and glaciers, because that's where I was. And there was... The dream was really disoriented. Either I'm remembering it really bad or everything was just happening so fast that I just rolled with it. But I was somewhere frozen, and there was this wolf there. And the wolf was friendly to me, even though I didn't quite recognize it. It was just this friendly wolf. And I believe, for the sake of conversation, as well as how the wolf was in my dream, we'll just address the wolf as Skull. Because Skull, in my dream, would follow me around, akin to how a dog will follow its master around. So it's basically like the real-life incarnation of little Skull down there. But, so, long story short, there was this guy, some random Joe, who wanted to do a sled dog race on the ice, but on the ice. See, this is how you know I'm grippling for stuff. Where else would you have a sled dog race? In the grass? At any rate, he wanted to race me on the ice, but the thing about that was I could tell the ice was very fragile, very thin, so I turned him down. A little bit later, him and the mushing dogs disappeared, so it was just me and Skull, and we were walking somewhere, no idea where, we're just walking, and all of a sudden the ice broke out from under me and I fell into the water. Now, the thing you need to know is I can't swim in real life or in dreams. And so when I fell into the ice, I gripped like the side of this glacier I was on. It was still like broken. Where I was standing, I was close to this glacier, so I just had my hand on it while my body was still submerged, trying to not sink. Ordinarily, in those situations, yeah, see, this is all the more reason why I'm doing these, because it levels them up pretty fast. But anyway, yeah, so I was gripping the side of the glacier, trying not to sink. And ordinarily, in dreams like that, where I'm like in the water, and there went a notification, I'm glad I remember to mute those. Whenever I'm in the water like that, I my number one fear isn't drowning. I would sooner drown than be eaten alive. That's my number one fear when it comes to being in the water, especially when I cannot see what's around me or below me, like murky or dark water. That's my number one fear, is being eaten alive by something I can't see. I mean, it'd be just as bad if I could see it, but you get my point. I'd sooner drown than be eaten alive. So, be that as it may, even though I was in that situation, I wasn't thinking about that at all. I was wondering where's Skull. I was more concerned about where Skull was. And interestingly enough, he was like doggy paddling his way towards me through the broken ice in the water. I said that because it's a no-duh statement, but I'm trying to paint a visual picture for you. Like there was broken ice everywhere. It was like really thick. Not thick enough for you to walk on, obviously, but thick enough to where you'd have to push through it while you were swimming. And that's what Skull was doing when he came to get me. So Skull saved my life, essentially. And I put my left arm around him, and I took my hand off the glacier, and I was floating just fine. He helped me get back to land. And a little bit after that, I found some like supplies, like coats and food and wood and kindling and fuel, you know, things like that to help us make a little fire, maybe an igloo. And we were able to find some thick enough ice that even with like an ice pick, I couldn't break through it. So I said, okay, this should be a good enough spot. So despite the fact that lighting a fire near ice is a bad idea, I decided not to do that. I'm not that stupid, or at least not usually. And instead, I just used the coats I found to dry Skull off first. Then I took care of myself. But I just thought that was a really interesting dream that I had, because that just shows my affinity for wolves even more. But what do you guys think of that dream? Because I'm not a dream interpreter. I have no idea what it means. I just know something like, doesn't like sinking into the sea or drowning or something like that supposed to symbolize, I don't know, distress or loss or something? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But let's say it does symbolize that, and then Skull is there in my dream to help me stay afloat. Now, obviously, it's not, you know, Skull. It's just that little thing right there. And I'm pretty sure the wolf isn't supposed to symbolize him. It's supposed to maybe symbolize the person helping me stay afloat. I don't know. I just thought I'd share that with you because it was a pretty interesting dream to me. Plus, I needed something to talk about while we deal with this. But yeah, so I explained how the penalty game is working. Because very soon, I might need to actually switch back to my old kit, but I'm not going to stop leveling these things up. That is still part of the punishment. I still have to do that. But in about, 2 days, I may need to switch over to my original kit. Take care of what's going to happen there. And you can be sure I will record what happens. Well, while I'm on that topic, I would have to say, going back to the dream about being in the water and not being able to see what's below me and all that stuff, I would say arguably my biggest fear is fear of the unknown, because it's unknown. Like a black hole or an oceanic abyss or a sinkhole, you know, things that you don't know what's down there or what's in them. That kind of thing usually scares me. In and of itself, it doesn't. Let me be more specific. It's more like being in there with something I don't know. That's pretty bad. But as long as I'm not forced in those kind of situations, I'm good. I'm better off than this close-handed captain is anyway. Oh yeah, I didn't think of saying that, but now you guys couldn't see how cool that attack actually looks because there's no distractions going on screen. Told you it looked good. It's not very strong though. Not like this anyway. This dark gravity. Oh, check that out. Oh, that looks sick. Like a little flower even appeared there at the end. That was cool. Alright, so that's the end of him. I'm going to go and fight him 2 more times and, you know, let my party know that level 5 is up when that happens. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will see you around.